Happy Wednesday, everybody. We're excited to join you today to talk a little bit about Riesling, which is always a fun thing to talk about, right? Because Riesling is like one of those misunderstood grapes. And it's probably, if I had to guess, the grape that most people who work in our industry drink most often.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Riesling is always one of those ones. I'm still learning so much about it. To learn about German wine, there's a ton to know. The labels are really kind of intimidating if you don't really know what you're looking for.
It can be.
And it does have a little bit of a stigma that it's always really sweet and it's always really cloying and heavy, and that's not the case.
Yeah, let's start there. Riesling is not sweet as often as you think.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, if you walked around to all the Rieslings in our shop, you'd probably find more than half of them are bone dry. In fact, I think sometimes Riesling is so dry that that's where people struggle with it, because when you get a really, really dry Riesling, it can be like really acidic, really lean, really like too tart for some people. So I think that's the first thing I want to get out there, is for people to really understand that just because it says Riesling on the label, don't expect it to be sweet. That was true in like 1978, but it's not so true today. And a lot of producers, especially some of the younger, more dynamic producers, are making dry wines in areas that were more typical for sweet wines, like this guy here.
Completely. I mean, actually, in this little pack that we came up with, 3 of these 4 are on that dry scale, so they're not terrifying. They're not something you need to be wary of.
Yeah. So first of all, I think Riesling is the best deal out there. If you were to say, like, where can I get the best wine for my money? Hands down, for white wines, you're going to get more value, a higher quality wine, a better wine in Riesling than just about anything else. So
yeah, the grape itself is really like high in acidity. It's really aromatic, and that's what makes it kind of age-worthy too, right? There's not a lot of white wine that you can put some money in at a really good price point and get something that can last forever.
yeah, you're not going to go into Burgundy and drop $27 on something that can last 15 years, unless you have a time machine and you can go back to like 1995. So let's talk a little bit about these guys today. We built the pack around the Miser, which is our new one from the Rheinhessen. So the Rheinhessen is very well known for dry wines. So that is the typical historic wines from the Rheinhessen, were a lot of dry wines. And this guy is bone dry. But what I like most about this,
it looks like a Pellegrino bottle, and there's a liter.
I like most about this that I'm getting an extra 250 milliliters of wine. So when these guys are all empty, this guy is still a quarter full.
And I would say that if I'm sitting out on the patio and this is on the table, it is as refreshing as a bottle of Pellegrino.
Yeah, absolutely. I love liter bottles. We're
Yeah.
starting to see a lot more of them on our shelves. I think this is the size that all wine bottles should be. I'm sure a lot of you out there agree with me. But at $21.95 for a liter, it might be the best deal in the store. And even if you don't like Riesling, I think you need to try this, because while it's dry, it's kind of got this nice kind of juiciness to it, this kind of softness to it. It's really easy to get along with. It's the kind of wine that you really just want to pop in an ice bucket, sit on your patio, mow the lawn, clean the yard, sit back, read a book. It is absolutely a stunning deal. And Miser, I've been lucky to go through a bunch of samples. This is the first time we've had these guys in, and we've got a bunch more wine coming from this winery. They are spectacular, superstar, young winemaker, new on the scene, which is what I love about Germany. There's so many new things happening all the time, right? Every week we're seeing new things coming in that are super exciting and affordable.
Yeah, everything that we tried out of those samples is awesome, so please stay tuned, because there's going to be some amazing new little German wines coming in. If you're ever a little bit scared too and you're not really sure what you're looking for, like this one's a perfect example on the back of the label. You can look for the word Trocken, or some of them will just write dry on there if you are a little bit unsure as to what is happening inside the bottle.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go to the next one here. So Kurt Haynes Winery, we've carried for a long, long time. Excellent producer. These guys are based in the Mosel, so they're more famous for off-dry wines. This one is what they call fine herb. So we're not going to go too deep into the German wine law today, but if you see fine herb on a label, it's kind of the Mosel's word for like for a half-dry wine or halbtrocken. So this one has a little bit of residual sugar, but you got to remember with Riesling, you have that really crisp acidity, so you don't really taste the sugar in it. There is a little bit there, but it's so perfectly balanced that this wine kind of almost drinks drier to me than it is.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the other thing that I love about the ones that are a little bit off dry is they're perfect pairings for like Asian cuisine,
Oh, yeah.
curries, tacos, anything that has a little bit of spice or heat. It really helps to like mellow and counter that heat, and they make perfect food pairings.
Yeah, actually, this one just comes off kind of rounder and juicier and fresher. It doesn't have that sort of cut, but it is a perfect wine. We had this with some like curry takeout. And it's spectacular for that. It really kind of takes the heat with the sweetness, and then you taste sort of a drier wine at the end of the day. So
yeah, it kind of leans more towards that like apricot and tropical side of Riesling, right? Whereas this is going to be a little bit more like crisp green apple, zesty, like lemony, right?
And then this guy here, which is a new producer that we signed this year, Hart, they are again in the Mosel, but they do a lot of dry wines, which is really unusual for the Mosel because the history there, as a cooler part of Germany, is to make wines with a little bit more sweetness. But I've been absolutely blown away by the quality of this. Really old family, making wine for generations. I've probably drunk as much of that as anything in the store. I think there's so much character. It's got that real chalky, stony, minerally character that I love in like white Burgundy or other grape varieties. But they make a wine with so much what I'd call pedigree or character that you just can't feel like you're not getting an amazing deal. This is like 27 on its own. Of course, you're getting a great deal with the pack, but it is really one that if you came in and said like just pick me a bottle of white wine, I'd probably walk over and grab one of those because I think it's just spectacular.
And then we had to throw something in from Austria because they happen to do a really great job at Riesling as well.
Yeah, Austria's got an amazing tradition with Riesling as well. We always think of Germany, but Austria next door does some fantastic wines, and Austrian wines tend to have a little more generosity. They're a little softer in some cases, like this one is. Definitely Leumer is really like an easy wine to get along with, right? This isn't like searing acid. This is just like round, pretty, elegant.
Yeah, they make them really approachable. If you're a little bit scared of trying out some Rieslings, this pack is really going to give you a great option and intro into what they have to offer.
Yeah, I'm as excited about this pack as anyone we've done all year. If you're on the fence, I'd really encourage you to try this. We love introducing people to Riesling, and there's great reason for it. You're going to find there's fantastic value here. You're going to get so much character. All these wines are so different. They really do taste like where they come from, which is really what we're trying to showcase is like great producers from specific areas, from amazing terroirs, and these wines all showcase that. So if you're on the fence,
give a little write up too if you're going to order one of these, so it can kind of walk you through a little bit of what you are tasting and a little history on each of the vineyards as well.
So you get a little info in there too.
Yeah.
And what's the pack going for?
We took $15 off of full retail, so we're on for $87.95.
Nice. So that's a great deal and a great way to get introduced to Riesling. I think it's a perfect day for a bottle of this. So hey, if you can get them ordered today, you might have it by the end of the day.
Hope to hear from you. We're here all weekend. It is the Farmers Market 10th anniversary this weekend as well. So if you are in the area, pop on in. I know they've got some stuff going on indoors, and we're going to have a little special in-house at the Farmers Market location as well.
Right on. Hope to see you all this weekend.